I really admire Tesla and Elon for what they've done. And it's clearly showed that an always-on relationship with the customer is where this industry is going. But, you know, we're competitors, and I race, and second is the first loser. So,
with EVs becoming the latest revolutionary piece of technology, manufacturing companies are developing plans to beat Tesla in becoming the top EV maker. That is why one of the top manufacturing companies in America, Ford, is planning to take the step and shift its gears and transform its company into an EV manufacturer. Unfortunately, currently Ford has a serious problem. Every EV they produce is only costing them money, and they're not generating any profits from each EV sold. That means competing with a company like Tesla right now may seem like an arduous task, since the Tesla Model 3 continues to dominate all EV charts worldwide. However, Ford CEO Jim Farley is looking to implement a new strategy and become the #1 EV manufacturer. Just recently, in an internal meeting, Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, applauded Tesla and was transparent about the current industry status. He made it abundantly clear that Ford must accept the fact that Tesla produces electric vehicles better than anyone else. The market clearly values Tesla's leadership in the electric vehicle industry, as demonstrated by the company's recent increase in capitalization. But it's evident that Ford didn't necessarily ignore Tesla in the past. Let's dive deep into Ford's past work and understand how Ford could eventually just be the greatest EV maker of all time. With a history of producing EVs, there's no doubt that Ford is just as capable as Tesla of being on top. Furthermore, it seems that now Ford just needs an execution plan. How are they going to do it? Let's find out. Henry Ford was aware that his friend Thomas Edison was experimenting with automotive battery technology as early as 1903. But Ford didn't publicly start developing an electric automobile until 1914. The so-called Edison Ford was intended to be sold for as little as $500, or only a little bit more than a Model T of the time, according to news reports. In January 1914, Mr. Ford stated to the New York Times that, "We shall start the manufacturing of an electric automobile within a year, I hope." The challenge thus far has been creating a lightweight storage battery that can travel great distances without recharging. Let's look forward, as it was not as easy playing around with electricity during that time compared to now. Ford was required to build and sell at least a few thousand electric vehicles by 2003 after California's zero emissions requirements were reinstated in 1996. Here is where the Ford Ranger EV pickup and the Think City microcar, the company's two electric vehicles, take place. Ford Motor Company paid $23 million in 1999 to acquire Think Global, a Norwegian business that had been working since 1991 on a unique, lightweight electric vehicle with a plastic body. After spending an additional $100 million on the development of batteries, Ford began manufacturing the Think City in November of 1999. The all-electric Ranger EV, a small pickup created with engineering assistance from Think, was the more practical Ford electric car of the late 1990s. The Ranger EV was produced between 1998 and 2002 during the EV1 period of General Motors. Later in the 2000s, the Toyota Prius surprise popularity helped usher in the so-called hybrid decade. Automakers once more questioned if batteries were sufficiently durable and economical for pure electric vehicles, which defined that time period. Ford moved its focus to hybrids, and its current portfolio reflects this strategy. With so much going on within the walls of Ford for the past years, what we will eventually criticize and appreciate is what's brought to the market. Ford has then made some experiments and plug-in hybrids. Other Ford EVs had a short lifespan as well. They started converting a small number of Transit Connect delivery cars to run entirely on electricity in 2010. A plug-in hybrid variant of the Escape plug-in hybrid was developed throughout a pilot program by the business. The Ford Evos, a plug-in hybrid GT concept with gull-wing doors, was also unveiled in 2011. The Ford C-Max Energy and the Ford Fusion Energy were the company's two most popular production plug-ins, which are the current sole surviving model. The C-Max appeared to be a winner when it first debuted in 2012 with a short and tall wagon-like compact, which was only offered as a hybrid and plug-in hybrid, with a 20-mile all-electric range and a 188 horsepower engine. It appeared that the time had come for Americans to adopt the style of the teeny utility vehicle that Europeans had long favored. But the experiment was never really successful. Customers were perplexed by the C-Max dimensions and its difficult-to-describe powertrain. The Volt also had a significantly greater all-electric range. Unfortunately, a lacking 47 miles per gallon stated on the EPA rating of the C-Max hybrid led to complaints and lawsuits in 2013. Ford lowered the hybrid fuel economy rating to 40 on the highway in 2014, the second time they had to do so. Ford released a teaser image of the first vehicle that would be built in the new EV era of the firm on September 7, 2018. It displayed the profile of a 300-mile electric SUV with Mustang influences that was anticipated in 2020. Even after Ford's major downfall, it had further improved its ideas in innovating better EVs. Around December 2015, Ford declared that it would invest $4.5 billion in electric solutions to restart its EV program, including hybrids, plug-in hybrids, pure EVs, self-driving cars, and all kinds of mobility services. By 2020, the business promised that electric options will be available for 40% of its nameplates. In 2016, rumors began to circulate that Ford will produce a 200-mile inexpensive EV to compete with the Tesla Model 3 called the Model E. Darren Palmer, VP of Electric Vehicle Programs, claimed that the company's $11 billion investment to build 16 fully electric vehicles by 2022 had charged him and his team. The Chinese market will play a significant role. Versions of the Ford Escape crossover SUV, the Lincoln MKC, and the Transit Connect are among the plug-in vehicle options. Now, in the present, the main objective of Jim Farley's strategy is to produce 2 million vehicles by the end of 2026. This will involve the all-electric F-150 pickup truck, and it will cost roughly $50 billion. Ford and GM will need to invest a lot of time, money, and resources in order to compete in the EV market, so they have their work cut out for them. In addition, Ford intends to operate like it did 100 years ago, but a significant amount of its internal combustion engine work has been outsourced. Ford has claimed it will be going back to its roots, so we expect a union of workers to be welcomed by the American production's locations. Given that the automotive industry is moving toward more internal manufacturing in a vertically integrated system like Tesla's, big automakers are seeing the need for a fundamental change in how they operate. Ford specifically wants to emulate Tesla's success. Tesla primarily develops and produces its own exclusive technology. Ford and other automakers used to buy parts from the shelves of their suppliers in the past. Tesla CEO Elon Musk dubbed this method of operation catalog engineering. Although the automotive industry has relied heavily on suppliers over the past few decades, the emergence of software-based electric vehicles has forced many major manufacturers to reconsider the tried and true business strategies. As Tesla pioneered in the field, it offered a vertically integrated product that is mostly created in-house, eliminating the need for a supply chain and reliance on third-party hardware and software. This makes it possible for the automaker to profit significantly from the selling of cars. While Ford should be producing more than 2 million vehicles in 2026, even though that number is good, in 2026, Tesla is on track to make 5 to 6 million vehicles, which is 2 to 3 times as many as Ford. And realistically, it will be challenging for Ford to sell 2 million cars. For comparison, Tesla started making EVs in 2010, but it hasn't yet reached a 2 million run rate. It will do so by the year's end. Recently, Ford has been preparing for one of the biggest changes in its storied history, a transition to a fully electric vehicle. In order to concentrate on the next generation of electric vehicles in Europe, the American carmaker will cease production of its Ford Fiesta model next summer. The decision was made a year sooner than anticipated as Ford starts introducing all-electric vehicles across its lineup. Ford announced intentions earlier this year to introduce 9 EV models by 2024 and to become an all-electric brand in Europe by 2035. Starting in the summer of 2023, electric vehicles from Ford will be produced in Cologne. 3 electric passenger cars and 4 commercial types are among the 7 new EVs. The Ford Puma will be available in all-electric form starting in 2024. Along with the Fiesta, Ford says it will also stop making the S-Max and Galaxy minivans as it turns its attention to electric vehicles. I definitely think that Ford has quite the capabilities to outrun Tesla's reputation in the EV market. But, of course, it all depends on the success of their vehicles once they're displayed. Let's hope that Ford has been making the right decisions to better improve the overall standing of its vehicles. How do you feel about Ford's strategy to catch Tesla? Do you think it'll work well? Please let us know about your thoughts in the comments section. We very much appreciate your support by giving this video a like and subscribe to our channel. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.